Hello and welcome to the Radio Times podcast. We're going to have a little discussion about Ozark, what we think is going to happen in season 3, what we want to happen, and I guess what happened in season 2. I'm here with Tim Glanfield, editor of RadioTimes.com. I am Ben Allen. I'm an on-demand writer for RadioTimes.com.
Yes, you are, and we both have seen all of Ozark so far.
We're both Ozark fans
on the Netflix. Yes, fan is the right word.
Yeah,
I think I'm a fan. So season 2. What did you think of that for a start? Did you think it lived up to season 1's high standards? In my opinion.
Yeah, I think so. It was very eventful. There was a lot, arguably potentially too much stuff happened. A lot of people died, which I think is going to leave some gaps to be filled.
Well, it does, doesn't it, when people die in shows?
Yeah, of course. But just because there's, we've seen the FBI, the FBI guy who's called
a lot of FBI,
Roy.
wasn't there?
What'd you say?
A lot of FBI in series 2, season
Yes.
2, if you will.
Absolutely, and you're wondering, what's going to happen. Are they going to replace Roy Petty? He was quite an entertaining character as well, because he was a bit loose. He was a bit mental, so that was kind of fun to watch.
Was good.
I thought generally it was an exciting. I think, as with a lot of Netflix shows, it was potentially a little bit too long. The episodes are a bit too long.
I disagree.
Really?
I think they should be longer.
Longer episodes.
Well, they an hour and a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
No adverts, of course, so that'd be an hour and a half on network TV in America.
Well, see,
but I can't get enough of it. I think 10 hour and a bit episodes is not enough.
Do you want more?
I
really?
want 20 hour and a half episodes.
I guess because when you compare it to say something like 24, where you had or that kind of traditional American show where you've got 24 episodes in the season, it's nowhere near as much.
We don't get that so much. The kind of premium, the premium shows is follow more the premium cable format. Sort of your more traditional sort of AMC shows, that sort of thing, where you tend to get fewer high quality episodes. As network TV, the normally shorter episodes but more of them,
which I think is good.
I want the best of both worlds. I want long episodes and loads of them.
I'm kind of the opposite. I just binged Killing Eve and I thought that was perfect. 42-minute episodes, 8 of them, and it's just like perfect length.
But
obviously,
at the end of it,
more.
do you not just go, I just want more Killing Eve, and that's annoying.
I do want more, but I think it's better to be left wanting more.
More is more, man. I think when it comes to TV,
okay,
especially for stuff like. But anyway, we digress.
Let's go back to Ozark.
I'll let you do your job.
Okay, so let's just see where season 2 left us off. So season 2 ends with Marty wanting to leave.
Marty's prepared to leave. He's got everything ready.
Completely. He's got the plane.
The plane, the seaplane. I'm a big fan of the seaplane.
Yeah, the seaplane's
cool. We didn't see that in action.
Which, by the way, as we saw earlier in the season, Pierce is monitoring, or it says that the cartel are monitoring his computers. They know that's happening anyway.
Well, there's that sinister scene, isn't there, in the final episode where, and we're still not quite. I mean, we're not clear what Wendy's motives are.
No.
She changes her mind, obviously, at the end. Decides they're going to stay.
Mm-hmm.
It appears that pivotal conversation with her and Pierce, that's the moment that she realises that they know.
Mm-hmm.
It's still not entirely clear if that's the only reason she wants to stay, or if she's just fed up with running and she knows they'll never get away, or if actually she's turning evil, you know, and she's got a taste for it. And she actually wants to take it to the next year. There's so many questions about that conversation and what it meant, but obviously Pierce, that very, very sinister conversation where she says, we worried about you guys, we even went to the lengths of monitoring your, what you were doing on the internet and stuff like that, which is, obviously as a viewer you're like,
exactly,
he's been booking tickets to wherever they were going to go, Australia, the Gold
very
Coast.
casually booking stuff
which
online.
You've got to admit, I think that is something that I had a little bit of an issue with.
Yeah.
Because you think he's been so good.
He's so meticulous with everything else.
He's been money laundering to to a very high standard, an Olympic level. For 10 years.
He's killing it.
And then he goes and makes a mistake like booking a plane ticket.
Rookie.
He
needs a burner.
Stupid. I know he's doing it under false names, but still, he's doing it on his home computer.
They're seeing what's happening. They're seeing it. Well, that's a good starting point. You made some good points about Wendy there. Let's talk about Wendy, because she was kind of the most interesting bit of the season, I think, for me, because, as you said...
It was the series of Wendy, wasn't it?
It was.
If series 1 was all about Marty, series 2 was all about her.
Yeah, 100%. And so it seems like, to me anyway, that she sees the opportunity to become a power player. She sees... Well, for one, she was able to do what Marty couldn't do, and she ordered the killing of Ruth Langmore because he was getting in her way. He was causing problems. Marty was not prepared to do that, as we saw. I mean, he did end up getting blood on his hands.
Well, he did literally.
And
everything changes at that point. Another really pivotal moment, though. I think you talk about that scene with Pierce, but that's another absolutely pivotal moment. You know, Marty kills.
Yeah.
And he's been killing the whole time. We know he has. And as a viewer, we know there's blood on his hands. The things he's been doing is laundering the money for a Mexican drug cartel.
Mm-hmm.
But he actually killed someone. And has he lost his bottle after doing it is the question.
Yeah, and it kind of seems that way because, well, I mean, it was a particularly bad killing as well because it was all his fault.
That whole downfall of Mason is you can chart it all back to everything Marty's done.
Exactly, and it's really grim because there's a child involved.
Yeah, no, it's horrible. That thing with the child is just horrific.
It's really bad.
I mean, having the and just the morality behind it, but then just thinking about the child, and then going to the Snell woman as well, like the most evil woman in the world.
Oh, completely. So just to recap, the Pastor Mason Young, who in the first season Marty ended up explaining to him that the Snells were dealing drugs on the lake where he was having his sermons, his wife ended up getting killed by the Snells, wasn't it, in season 1?
His pregnant wife.
His pregnant
baby
wife.
taken from her body.
Taken from her body.
Her body disappears. The baby is just left there.
Baby's left.
Horrific. Obviously,
he has a bit of a mental breakdown, I think, and
ends up living on the street with the baby, preaching.
Exactly. Then he takes Wendy hostage, and drags Marty in, and then Marty ends up killing him.
Because the idea, the trade was going to be the child gets taken into care.
Yes.
Marty and Wendy manage to get the child out of care. Marty gets the child out of care, takes him back to trade the baby for Wendy. That moment, Mason kind of changed his mind, believes Marty to be the devil, and then sort of attempts to kill him, and in retaliation, Marty kills Mason, which is a really, really powerful, exciting kind of. They really turn the screw at the end of series 2. That stuff, you kind of, although you know there's going to be violence and there's going to be death, you don't kind of expect it to come from the hands of Marty or the people who are very closest to him, and that changed everything for me.
Absolutely, and he was very shook as well. I mean, that was quite interesting to see his reaction. It wasn't like, and also to contrast that then with Wendy, who's so clear-headed and so just knows that they need to clean it up, essentially. But Marty is dealing with
she does it a little bit too well, I think, which makes you think maybe there's, maybe she is bad, like properly bad.
Well, yeah, that's the question. I mean, is this season just giving us an indication that Wendy is potentially the new antagonist in the series? Is she taking his mantle because he's always been a reluctant antagonist? She seems very keen.
Well, the thing is with Wendy is, we know that we know about her past of being this kind of high power. It's suggested she works in the in all these campaigns, even worked with the Obama campaign, a fictional Obama campaign in the past. So she's a big PR guru who can change the hearts and minds of people. She gets a taste for that, right? In series 2, this whole casino project, working with that guy and trying to get the casino across all of the dealing, and she's loving the power again, because for the last few years she's been a wife and a mother and in the background, and suddenly she's in the foreground, and she's getting a buzz from that, right? And at the end of series 2, she's calling the shots. Suddenly Marty's wounded, he's killed, he looks like a broken man almost, and you feel like he can't fight it. And she's just taking control of the whole situation.
Completely taking control.
Pretty much from the moment he kills Mason, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And
I must say, you've always got to worry about someone who knows exactly what to do when there's a dead body on the floor.
Yeah.
That's not something you should know what to do, and she did.
Completely, and that's the shift in power in the relationship, because up until then, they were kind of on even keel this season, but they're both making decisions. And then when that happens, she has to take control, and from there, she kind of remains in control. And I think she wants to stay at the end. I think she may know that they can't leave, but it seems like she sees opportunity with this new massive casino, things she can do there. I think she sees a ladder that she can climb to potentially, go beyond what Marty has done, just, being one of these people that launders the money and cleans up for people. I think she wants to go beyond that.
But with Darlene Snell around, it doesn't feel like anything good can happen.
No, and as you said, as you touched upon there, Darlene has Mason Young's baby now because
she's desperate to have a child, and that's a theme that develops throughout the series. She's clearly too old to have a child herself. Jacob obviously can't provide a child now because she's killed him.
Yeah.
Which, it seemed a bit out of order, killing her husband.
Very out of order.
That's what happens. That's just another happy Christmas at the Snell
family
farm, isn't it? I'm sure a few people have been buried in those fields over the years.
Absolutely. A lot of dark stuff going on in that.
But yeah, she's kind of a looming scepter of kind of chaos.
Yeah.
Nothing good's ever going to happen while she's there. And when I say good, I don't mean that any of the stuff that's going on is good, because it's not. But the Byrde's plans feel like they're always going to get knocked off course as long as she's about, because 100%. She's a complete loose cannon. She's got completely her own agenda, to the point she's killed her husband because she doesn't agree with what he's doing. So, if she's going to kill her husband, who we see the whole backstory and the love story between them, clearly they were once very much in love.
Yeah, you'd like to think so.
So if she kill her own husband, then, what's she going to do to blow up the Byrde's plans as they go forward?
Exactly, and how's she going to be as a mother? And not very loving, I would say.
Yeah, I think that child is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that poor
Although I had a theory, and this is something that me and my wife talked about when we were watching it, is maybe the baby will change her. Maybe the one thing that's always been missing from her life is she wanted to have a child, and now she's got a child. She might turn good.
She'll leave the Byrdes to do whatever they want.
Yeah, but it feels like that's wishful thinking.
It's unlikely. But yeah, well, that's the thing. There's so many, like, alongside Darlene Snell, there's so many just different and like people that can bring the whole thing down for Marty. There's, a kind of splinter threat is Wyatt Langmore, who now, I guess what he now knows that it wasn't Marty, that it was Ruth.
Yeah,
who killed his father.
Ruth's role in this whole thing has been pivotal again.
Yes, she was the MVP for me of the season. She was
fantastic.
She's amazing.
Fantastic kind of secondary storyline going on around her the whole time, and her family. And she's obviously taken Wyatt under her wing, and she knows that he's the brains of the Langmores, which isn't saying a great deal. But actually, I think she's the brains of the Langmores. But she sees hope in him, and she wants to send him off to college and have a future.
A way out, basically.
Yeah, she wants to give him an escape that she can get.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, now she's been forced by her father, who was bad to the bone. I think it's fair to say.
He was a pain in the arse, to be honest.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
I think you can say that. No, he's a really bad person, and he'll do anything for himself, and he just doesn't care about his family.
No.
But she's been forced by him to admit that she killed Wyatt's father, her uncles, and so
which she did to save Marty Byrde.
Because Marty Byrde's probably the only person who's ever shown any kindness towards her in her life, even though they've got this kind of weird relationship where, of course, she tried to kill him as well.
Yeah.
It's a weird place, Ozark, isn't it?
There's a lot of, it's not a weird
place I'd want to live.
No, and you couldn't really trust anyone there, I don't think, because they're all backstabbing and...
Yeah, and it's so beautifully put together and shot as well, because on the screen it feels very moody. Someone was telling me about the way it's lit. It's lit the other way around.
Too moody
to most TV shows, light the other way around, and the lighting's all backwards, which gives that kind of feel of darkness and gloom in every shot, which is clever technique, I believe. I'm not technical.
It's a strong tone. I'm not personally that fond of it because it's a little bit too dark, and you actually kind of can't see everything. It shows
the hand marks on your TV.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that for nothing. I've got young children who they put their hands all over the TV. And those dark scenes, you just see the handprints.
Oh, that's quite funny. Okay,
which is sort of funny, but sort of
a bit annoying.
They've been never cleaned the TV, do they? Just put their hands on it.
Personally, for me, I'd turn that up a notch a little bit. But
well, you turn the brightness up.
I watch it on my computer a lot, and you can't really. Well, there's a certain level the brightness gets to, and that's
getting very technical. This discussion, isn't it?
But yeah, let's get back to Ruth because she is an incredibly interesting aspect of the show. So she was left with Marty. When he thought he was leaving, he left her all of his money pretty much, and he put her in charge of the whole operation. But because they haven't left, we don't know what's going to happen with her next. What do you think?
I don't know. It's clear that she's going to be an important part of this. She knows too much, which is a bad place for her to be. We've already seen her waterboarded, which is not a nice thing to happen to anyone. So the cartel already have her kind of marked as troublemaker. She knows a lot now because obviously she was going to be involved in the laundering of the money if they did run away. She was going to keep things going until they were far enough away. She now knows a lot of stuff. So she's sort of in it up to her neck. Right. The thing I don't know is how much does Marty care about her? Is she someone that he's prepared to cut loose? And certainly is she someone that Wendy's prepared to cut loose in order to save their own skins? Or, as it seems, does Marty actually think of her as a daughter, or maybe even more? Does Marty love her? Who knows? You know, like there feels like there's a bond there, and we're not quite sure what it is. It's a sort of love-hate thing. They've sort of both tried to kill each other in a way, but in another way, he relies on her as one of the few people in the Ozarks who sort of does what he wants, helps him.
Completely. That's actually probably my favourite relationship in the show. It's the most interesting, I think. Whether or not it's completely earned, because it is they seem to have a weirdly deep bond for how much time they spent together and what they've actually done. But I guess, you know, he got there.
It's intense things that have happened, right?
It's,
like
it's a lot of intense.
When it comes to life and death, I guess you become close to people pretty quick.
Completely. And she saved his life. Yeah. So that's
he owes her. Yeah, he owes her, and she owes him in the sense that he's the only person who's ever given her a chance.
Yes, completely.
And he's trusted her to, you know, run businesses and do stuff, and she's doing it. What will happen next to her, I don't know. I think she is definitely going to be very heavily interwoven into it, and I think the relationship and the threat that perhaps Wendy sees from her could become the most important part of Series 3, because I think if Wendy's stepping up to become the matriarch and the kind of person running the show, Ruth could become a problem, and also could become someone who gets in the way of the relationship between Wendy and Marty.
Yes.
And I think that's when Ruth could come a cropper, let's put it like that.
Absolutely, I think you're right. I think those two will hopefully be button heads as we go into season 3. So then from there, what do you think is going to happen with the kids? I guess that's something we haven't touched upon. The Byrde children. So Charlotte's been...
The little birds. What's going to happen with the little birds? Well, I think Charlotte is obviously asked to be emancipated. She's fed up with the whole thing.
Yeah.
She's not going to get away, is she? Let's face it. The problem with Charlotte is that she knows too much.
She does, absolutely.
They both know too much. So how do they escape from this? You know, we've already had the looming set that they've been said, if the FBI get them, they'll try them, and as adults, they'll end up in prison forever. Whether or not that's true, I don't know, but Marty seems to think that's a serious issue.
Yeah.
They can't let them go very far. They're bluffing, saying, we'll let you emancipate, we'll let you go, Charlotte, but they can't, because she gets stoned and tells Wyatt stuff, right?
Yeah, it's not great.
And if she's going to get stoned and tell people stuff, she can't go to college, because she's going to tell people, my parents do this stuff, and I've been involved in it. And it feels like they're in this horrible situation where obviously they don't want to do anything nasty to their children, but in a sense they've got to keep their children very close and try and keep them shut down.
I wouldn't put it past Wendy to do something horrible to her children. She seems like she's got absolutely no bottom line. You know, she'll cross anything.
And Jonah is, you know, he obviously built a very close relationship with Buddy, who sadly died in the series, and we all like Buddy. And he turned out to be like a real hero, and he's sort of used to be in the mafia, and that, it turns out, that came out very quickly.
Yeah. Soapy.
Yeah, but I kind of quite like that. And when Jonah had that, you know, very close relationship with him, he's lost him now. To be honest, all bets are off with what Jonah might do, and I worry for him. I worry for both the Byrde children. I worry for their whole household.
The little birds.
And of course, their gamble that the man who they bought the house from, living in the basement, would die has happened, even though they grew to like him. So, you know, from a real estate point of view,
they
have done well. They've got that lovely house by the lake now. Unfortunately,
the lovely Ozark lakes.
Unfortunately, everyone wants to kill them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, you know, it's not all good.
It's a nightmare, yeah. I mean, I think Jonah might become a serial killer, but it seemed like he was going to be a serial killer anyway, so...
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, it feels like maybe he somehow will save the day. You know,
that'd be interesting.
You know, it feels like somehow Jonah has got something going on there. He's a really smart kid, right? And he's already doing money. He's learned to money launder just from watching his dad, which, I mean, is sort of, again, it's good. It shows he's got initiative, but in another sense, it's worrying that a young boy is money laundering.
Yeah, completely.
It's committing crimes without anyone realising. But I mean, full steam ahead for the kids. I think they're just going to have to keep them close. I have to keep them quiet, and I do worry about Charlotte, especially because she's already had this outburst, and I think Wendy's not keen on that, as we saw, and I think that may need to be shut up.
Charlotte's at that age where she's
in
the rebellion stage.
She's 15, isn't she?
And she's every right to rebel.
There's quite a lot of stuff to be angry about as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like she had quite a nice life in Chicago. Now she lives in this absolute nightmare. And you know, Missouri aside, I'm sure it's a very nice place. This particular situation is not.
It's
nice.
not good. No, that community is just not. You're not going to get much out of that.
No, and her parents are literally just trying to stay alive every day.
Yeah,
Occasionally,
exactly.
Mexican drug cartels come around. So,
yes.
you know, it's not the ideal childhood.
Yes, I think you're right. Is that we kind of covered pretty much?
Yeah,
pretty much all the main
Series
bits.
3, we don't know when it's going to be.
No. Oh yeah. So we were discussing there's a potential that Jason Bateman might be delaying it slightly.
Well, there was a story that went around. He was on the Ellen show, I think, in America, and said, "I want to spend more time with my family. I'm going to take a hiatus till next March."
Yeah.
But I think that's when they shoot it normally anyway.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And obviously Netflix have announced, which is great news, that there's going to be a third series. It's going to be 10 parts again, so more of the same. Another 10 episodes coming. We don't know when. They don't normally tell us this early on.
But it's been kind of similar. So I think it was July last year, and it was August this year. So maybe.
It does feel like they're not going to start filming until March, and this is all conjecture, by the way. We don't know, but if that were true, that he was going to take it might be a bit later.
Sure.
Because I can't imagine they're going to shoot all 10 episodes in 3 or 4 months.
No, I guess a stab at
6 months, and then they've got to do some post-production and whatever.
If we were to hazard a guess, we'd say autumn. Maybe autumn.
Autumn 19.
Yes, autumn 19.
Which would be good, and I think we're going to see lots of casino action on a boat.
Well, this is exciting. This is exciting.
Itself, a boat that's a casino is a fun place for things
We've
to
got
happen.
the big casino coming. Who knows what that'll bring, but exciting stuff.
And you think the star of the series will be?
I think it's always Ruth for me. It's always Ruth. About Ruth, she's the best actress, I think.
I think it's going to be Darlene Snell with a baby strapped to her all the time. God. I think every scene she's going to have the baby strapped to her front. She's not going to go out of her sight, and I think she's going to cause mayhem in that casino and across the Ozarks
with the baby and like have guns and knives.
Well, indeed, it's
killing people.
It's shocking.
Yes.
The thought of it alone is shocking. But we will have to wait and see. So hopefully, very soon we'll find out when it's coming. But we're just going to keep waiting until 2019 for Ozark Series 3. Thanks for listening to this, everyone. And do go to radiotimes.com to find out everything more we know about Ozark.
And there's plenty.
There's plenty, and there'll be more as it happens.
Plenty of conjecture as well.
See you later.